All right, thank you, Megan, for your opening remarks, and everyone, welcome to the Registered Apprenticeship Virtual Academy. My name is Ben Helkowski, and I will be your presenter for the first session and the second session of today. We are excited to have you. We are excited to have you all here with us. So today I will be presenting on a brief overview of the virtual academy, and then we will do an introduction to apprenticeship programs. So from TPMA, Vicki Thompson and I will be two of your presenters. We will be tag teaming the modules presented throughout the Registered Academy. A little bit about myself. So I graduated from Mercyhurst University up in Erie, Pennsylvania with a Master of Science in Organizational Leadership. And I am a consultant with Thomas P. Miller & Associates, also known as TPMA. My colleague, Vicki Thompson, graduated with her Master's in Education, and she is currently a senior consultant with our organization. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation, I'd like to take a second to thank our sponsors and presenters for making the Virtual Academy operable. So the sponsors for this event is the Center of Excellence, the National Association for Workforce Development Professionals, Saffold Partners, and we will have presenters from Thomas P. Miller & Associates, Saffold Partners, and the U.S. Department of Labor, Office of Apprenticeship. So before I get further, again, I'd like to provide an overview of my background, where I come from, and the organization that I'm working with. So Thomas P. Miller & Associates, our mission is that we empower organizations and communities through strategic partnerships and informed solutions that create positive, sustainable change. Our vision, a world that thinks strategically, works collaboratively, and acts sustainably. And our values are high quality, collaboration, entrepreneurship, community impact, team, and ethics. Our areas of expertise are workforce development, evaluation, and economic development and community resilience. But going back a little bit, based out of Indianapolis, Thomas P. Miller & Associates was founded in 1989 on the notion that making workforce a major component of any approach to economic development, knowing that without a qualified workforce, communities cannot thrive. Since then, the organization has grown, and the team provides consulting services throughout the United States, working with local and state governments, workforce development boards, higher education institutions, and industry associations. We provide integrated solutions to grow the economic and social value of communities. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see some tailored services that Thomas P. Miller & Associates provides. So research, planning, program implementation, resource development, marketing, and evaluation services are just a few of the many services that we can provide. Recently, TPMA, or Thomas P. Miller & Associates, was given the honor of becoming an apprenticeship ambassador, along with many other organizations. What does it mean to be an apprenticeship ambassador? So Apprenticeship USA defines the Apprenticeship Ambassador Initiative seeks to create a national workforce of employers, labor organizations, industry associations, program sponsors, educators, workforce intermediaries, minority serving organizations, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders to serve as champions for expanding and diversifying registered apprenticeship. Responsibilities of apprenticeship ambassadors include promoting and expanding awareness of the benefits of registered apprenticeship programs, identifying and scaling innovative practices and partnerships in the registered apprenticeship space, increasing access and support for underrepresented and underserved populations, and communicating the business case for registered apprenticeship as a mainstream workforce strategy. Virtual Academy overview. So shifting gears, we will quickly run through an overview of the Virtual Academy and clarify some expectations. So session 1 and 2 will be an introduction to registered apprenticeship programs. It will be high level and give everyone a few perspectives of what registered apprenticeship programs contain. Session 3 and 4, we focus on building partnerships for registered apprenticeship success. We will really hammer down the fact that partnerships are the cornerstone of successful and effective registered apprenticeship programs. Session 5 and 6 will focus on developing a registered apprenticeship program and best practices associated with that. Session 7 will be focused on creating impactful registered apprenticeship programs and reaching diverse populations. And the last session will be a live Q&A with Vicki Thompson. Expectations and clarifications. So we built these presentations with the idea that there will be a varied audience. Individuals will come from all walks of life, and with this in mind, the information may seem a little introductory, but will be important nonetheless. Resources and information to build. These slides will contain resources and information to build registered apprenticeship programs, and if you have not already, we'll be sending out resources to supplement these presentations. Some of these slides and presentations will have reiterated information. That is because there is a lot of overlap among the dynamics of registered apprenticeship programs, but we also want to make sure that the information really is ingrained. Information is dynamic as policies change. So we build these presentations with the current information that we have available. However, please keep in mind that that information is subject to change. At the end of each presentation, we will have quizzes to reinforce learning outcomes, and we will give you some time to review materials and prepare your answers for the quizzes. And then we ask at the end that you record your questions for the live Q&A, as we will not have time throughout the presentations to answer them. So our agenda for the first presentation, we will cover the 5 steps to build a registered apprenticeship program. We will cover the 7 delineating factors of a registered apprenticeship program. We will discuss the standards of apprenticeship and the information that is contained within them. We will highlight key partners that lead to registered apprenticeship success, and we will provide an overview of the Office of Apprenticeship and state apprenticeship agencies. But before we get started with that, we want to get to know the room. So in the chat, do you mind highlighting how you are showing up today? Are you a job seeker, employer, student, or general workforce development professional? And for fun, what was your first job? We'll give folks about 30 seconds to report their answers in the chat. All right, thank you all for participating. So next up, we have another chat activity. So what is registered apprenticeship? We want to know how you would define registered apprenticeship. So again, in a sentence or two, add or explain how you would describe registered apprenticeship. And we'll give folks about 30 seconds to answer this. So as answers are coming in, you can see that there are a lot of ways to define registered apprenticeship. But coming up next, I'll provide 2 explanations or descriptions of how Apprenticeship USA and Jobs for the Future explain or describe registered apprenticeship. So registered apprenticeship is an industry-driven, high-quality career pathway where employers can develop and prepare their future workforce, and individuals can obtain paid work experience, receive progressive wage increases, classroom instruction, and portable nationally recognized credential. Jobs for the Future defines it as to help workers master the knowledge, skills, and competencies that they need for the job at hand, while setting them up for long-term career success. So a lot of those elements were definitely contained in a lot of your answers. These are just two ways to define registered apprenticeship. So why registered apprenticeship programs? What's the big deal with them? So since 2012, there's been a 64% growth in new apprentices. And over that time, over 2 million new apprentices. There have been over 14,700 new apprenticeship programs created in the last 5 years. And as of 2021, there are nearly 27,000 active programs. And a last bullet to really drive the point home, why use apprenticeship programs? There are over 593,000 apprentices obtaining skills, and 96,000 graduated from apprenticeship system over the course of 2021. So as you can see, there are a lot of people participating in apprenticeship programs, and they exist all over the country. So now that we've established their importance, we're going to go into the 5 steps of creating an apprenticeship program. So the first step, which may seem like the most obvious one, you have to select an apprenticeable occupation. Yes, that is a difficult word to say, but we say it anyway. So this will depend on the need of a business or the needs of an industry within a region. Second step is to identify sponsors and partners. We have 2 sessions on partnerships because they're that important, but we really want to hammer home the fact that there are resources around you and it is important to use those resources. Step number 3 is to connect with experts, and that would be the Office of Apprenticeship or State Apprenticeship Agency. These are the 2 entities that can officially sanction a registered apprenticeship program, and they depend on which state you reside within. 4 will be developing the core components or the 7 delineating factors of a registered apprenticeship program. And then 5 is to launch and manage your program. As information evolves and funding and various resources come out, a lot of those can be leveraged to make sure that you have an impactful and successful registered apprenticeship program. So I'm going to skip ahead to the 7 delineating factors. Although it was step 4, it is a very important step to consider before officially building your apprenticeship program. So listed are the 7 delineating factors. The first one being industry-led partnerships. Industry-led partnerships can assist with the process and avoid duplication of services. Paid job experiences. So apprentices are paid, which can make them an equitable contributor to the workforce development system. The third delineating factor is on-the-job learning and mentorship. This will help apprentices quickly gain skills and abilities required by the occupation. Similar to that, supplemental education to support theories and learning outcomes of the apprentices. Delineating factor number 5 is diversity, to ensure that apprenticeships are reaching individuals from all walks of life, especially individuals from underrepresented populations. Quality and safety. So how will apprentices learning new skills be kept safe throughout the apprenticeship process? And the 7th delineating factor is a portable credential to qualify skills and abilities of the apprenticeship. So the 7 delineating factors will be contained within the standards of apprenticeship. The standards of apprenticeship are a written plan that must be developed and submitted to either the Office of Apprenticeship or State Apprenticeship Agency to officially register the program. The standards of apprenticeship contain a lot of information, including program administration procedures, an equal opportunity pledge, affirmative action plan, qualifications required to become an apprentice, apprentice selection processes, outline an apprenticeship agreement, the ratio of apprentices to journey workers to provide supervision and training to them, the apprenticeship term length, the length of the onboarding probationary period, which occurs at the beginning of an apprentice's journey, hours of work, the apprentice wage progression for skill attainment, credit for previous experience and work experience, related instruction and work process schedule, which typically contains a minimum of 144 hours, and instructor qualifications. safety and health training procedures, the supervision of apprentices, records and examinations of apprentice work and training, maintenance of apprentice records for a period of 5 years, the certificate of completion, notice to the registration agency, cancellation and deregistration, amendments or modifications, adjusting differences in compliant procedures through the Code of Federal Regulations, collective bargaining agreements, transfer obligations, responsibilities of the apprentice, technical assistance, and official adoption of apprenticeship standards. So that sounded like a lot, and I apologize for listening to me ramble on, but fortunately, the folks at Apprenticeship USA created the Standards Builder, which is a centralized location to help individuals and agencies build the standards of apprenticeship online. This provides the requirements and administration guidance for program sponsors and can be found at the link listed here. Because building the standards of apprenticeship is such an important part of the registered apprenticeship process, we want you all to become familiar with the Standards Builder tool. This video is about 25 minutes long. However, familiarizing yourself with the interworkings will help you in the long run.
Today, we're going to demonstrate how to create a Standards Builder program. Once you logged into Standards Builder using login.gov, you will come to the landing page for Standards Builder. On this page, you can download a sample set of boilerplates, download a sample Appendix A, download the reference guide, which tells you how to register a program and everything that you need to do in order to run an apprenticeship program. And you can explore occupations. If you click this link, it will take you out to ONET. Also, I wanted to point out on this page, you can create new standards, or if you have multiple programs that you're helping, you can go back to the list of programs that you have in progress. But for today's sample, I'm going to start a new program. So click Start Now. And we want to know, are you the organization that is going to be the sponsor, or are you acting on behalf of another sponsor? In today's demonstration, we're going to talk about acting on behalf of another sponsor. So click that and continue. This is us getting to know about your organization. We want to know who is filling out the standards for someone else. This information will not be included on the apprenticeship standards. You will fill out your information, your email address, your telephone number, and note that the items that have a star by them are required fields. All right, once every field is filled out, you will hit continue. In the next questions, it's going to find out how large the organization is that you're helping. This will help us determine if it's a local sponsor or potentially a national sponsor. How many states does the sponsor currently operate in? You can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or more, depending on what the company does. In today's demonstration, we'll choose 1. How many people are employed at this sponsor's organization? This includes everyone in the company, not just the apprentices. Is it less than 100, between 100 and 299, or more than 300? How many apprentices does the sponsor intend to employ in the next 2 years? 1 to 10, 11 to 19, or 20 or more? And hit continue. Is the sponsor interested in administering the program for employers external to their organization? This would mean an organization that has employers below them. So maybe it's an association or a union, and they have employers that will participate in their program. Choose yes or no, whichever one is appropriate. In this demonstration, I'll choose yes. That way you can see the other document that is provided when we have employers involved. Click continue. It says, great, you are best suited to create a local apprenticeship program, and you can begin to create your program. Now we're going to talk about the sponsor. This would be the contact person that you have at the sponsor that's going to help you develop these standards. Okay. Once you entered all the information, click continue. What's their organization name? So we allow associations, committees, or companies to register an apprenticeship program. Whatever name you put here will be the name of the apprenticeship standards. Okay, once you've filled out all the information, click continue. All right, so based on the address that I put in there, it's going to introduce you to the state director for the area that you entered. Now it's time to start developing the occupation. It will allow you to type in a word of an occupation or the ONET code. In the Office of Apprenticeship, we use the same ONET code for multiple occupations. So you will get to choose which occupation the sponsor wants. In this case, I'm going to choose 3D printing, add the selected occupation. It gives you a brief description, the ONET code, the RAPIDS code, and the estimated length of time of the program. If the company that you're working with has a different name for the occupation, you can enter the custom name here, or if you like 3D printing technician, you can leave that there. It's already filled out. Click continue. Here you'll choose time-based, competency-based, or hybrid. I'll show you the competency-based and click next. So the estimated length of hours that this would take could be 2,000 hours, or you can add an additional 25% if you need to for that sponsor. These work activities were pulled in from ONET. If the sponsor doesn't do one of those, you can exit out to remove it. Or if they like something but need to edit it, want to add more information, scroll down to the bottom and edit the work activities, which will open up the fields to be edited. Another option is to upload their own work process schedule. Potentially they have a Word document that was provided to them by you or an ATR, and they can upload that. I will show you uploading documents at the end. Click continue once you're happy with that. And next we're choosing related instruction. Is your organization going to be the one providing related instruction? If you say yes, the information I entered earlier would fill in, or you can click no, and it'll be blank. For the purposes of time, I will say yes. It is an open text box, so you can edit anything that you need to. Save the RTI provider. This gives you a snapshot of what you just entered. Again, if you need to edit it, you can click that. You can delete it, or you can add more. You can add multiple RTI providers. If the sponsor does some, a community college does some, or you do some web-based training, you can add as many as you need to. Click continue. This field, this area is for you to be able to edit your own or build your own RTI outline. The only thing that is required in this field is the contact hours. If they have a Word document, they can upload their own, or they can just start building it. If they need more subjects or more learning objectives, they can choose that. Once they have it all built out, they will hit continue. This is the probationary period. it states that typically they calculate 25% of the length of the program or 1 year, whichever is less. It is an open text box, so if you need to adjust it, you can. And click continue. Wages, you'll put an entry wage and your exit wage. You can choose if it's hourly, weekly, monthly, and so on. If you want to build the schedule, maybe they get an increase every so often, maybe when they complete a certain number of competencies. And you can do it by percentage or by hourly rate, whichever one you prefer. Click next. And selection procedures. This is how they will actually hire their apprentices. Again, they can type in here, they have 4,000 characters, or they can upload if they have a Word document. Click next. Now it gives us a summary of everything that we've added for this occupation. If you see something that's incorrect, you can click edit, anything you want to add, or you can add another occupation. I do want to demonstrate adding a time base, so you'll see what it looks like with time in there. I'm going to leave nursing assistant certified. And I'm going to choose the time-based. And here they will enter the hours for each of the work activities. In this demonstration, I'm going to just put one set of hours because I want to show that if you want to delete many rows at a time, you can remove the empty rows. Of course, you wouldn't want to do that because they do need a full outline. But for time purposes, I wanted to demonstrate that. So here it is, 2,000 hours. Again, the related training, I can do the one I did previously, or I can add a new one. For TI. Probationary period. Wages. I wanted to show the wage progression, so maybe they get a raise every so often. You can adjust these hourly rates, write a description. And it's going to show now everything that I've entered for this occupation. So you can see that we have the 3D printing occupation or the nurse assistant occupation. Okay, next we're going to work on standards. So I will hit continue or next. And who's my complaint person? Will it be the person that I've already entered, or will I be adding somebody new? In some organizations, someone from the HR department or someone else in the organization deals with the complaints. So just put whatever is appropriate. I'm going to say the original person is our contact. The minimum qualifications, the only thing required in here is the age, but we give you many more options to choose from to qualify their apprentices. So 16 is the youngest. Some programs require 18 and some that require driving may require 21. So put whatever is appropriate. If they require a driver's license, if they're driving company equipment, if they need a high school diploma or GED. If they need a drug test, aptitude test, anything that they need, or any other qualifications. Once you've entered all those, hit continue. Will the apprentices be paid for hours spent attending related instruction? So if they're going to get paid while they're in classroom, you would put yes. If they are not getting paid classroom, you would put no. So put whatever's appropriate. So this statement says that if somebody is going to receive credit for previous experience, they need to furnish transcripts, records, affidavits, etc. If the company requires something more, you can choose yes. Maybe they require a DD 214 or W-2 from a previous employer, or is appropriate. If you leave this no, this statement will be the only thing in the standards. Click continue. EEO pledge states that they will not discriminate based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, genetic information, or disability, or persons over 40. If they have any other protected classes, just put whatever is appropriate. If you put no here, this statement will show up in the standards. Click continue. All right, are they affiliated with the union? Yes or no? If you say yes, it will just open a place for you to put the union information, their particular name. If you say no, it just won't put anything. Also, putting yes in here will add some signature blocks to signing the standards. This is the disclosure agreement. The Office of Apprenticeship does share general information that a program is registered with us and what occupations. You agree to share your apprenticeship outlines and RTI outlines with potential sponsors. Clicking the box indicates you do not wish to share your outlines. Leaving it unchecked indicates you do wish to share. Click continue. So we've completed all the standards. It's giving us a sample of everything that we've entered in the company. You can scroll all the way down. You can edit anything that you see needs changed. And you could work with the sponsor once you do this initial entry to see if they want to update anything before it needs to be sent for signature. All right. Once everything is ready to go, you'll click OK, I'm ready to submit, but we're not going to do that today. What I do want to do is view the draft set of standards so that you can see everything that was entered and what it's going to look like in the documents. It does take a few minutes to generate this because it's pulling all the information that we entered in this sample into the documents, to the Word version documents. So this will take just a second to populate. Okay, once it's a green check mark, you can click continue, and it gives you the boilerplate standards, the outlines for each occupation, the employer participation agreement that we spoke about, a blank copy of the apprenticeship agreement, and the requirements reference guide. So I'm going to open each of these so you can see what they look like. Okay, so first we'll start with the boilerplate standards. Okay, you will see the company name that I entered as the sample. And since I chose multiple occupations, they are not listed here, but they'll be in the Appendix A's. Okay. This will be filled out and signed by the state director, who will have final signature on this. So as you can see, it's a template and it fills in the appropriate information in the appropriate area. So this is the company name. We can scroll through. I said it needed to be 18 years of age, high school diploma or GED, that they need a drug test, a math test, and a driver's license. These are the qualifications. Scroll down, the apprentices will be paid for hours spent attending related instruction. If I would have chose no, it would have said will not. Complaints about equal opportunity go to the Office of Apprenticeship in the national office in Washington, D.C. I said that the general complaints of the program would go to my contact, which is John Doe. And the general contact information for the program is the state director of the state that we put in the program. Okay. And then here's our signature areas. Those will be filled in by DocuSign when the document gets sent for signatures. Okay, we'll look at the cover sheet for the Appendix A. Okay, this is the 3D printing technician. I chose a competency-based, and I put the journeyman rate was $15 an hour, that they would get increases when they get 10 competencies, another increase when they get another 10, and then they complete with 20 competencies. And I said the probationary period would be 500 hours, and their selection procedures were advertise, interview, and select. So that's our cover sheet. The work process. Okay. So this is the outline for the 3D printing. So when we saw it in the standards builder, it just had the work activities, but now it'll give them different blocks for them to mark off proficiencies and date and sign it when that apprentice completed that competency. So you can see it goes all the way down. The RTI. Okay, remember I put test subject 1 and the learning objective, and I put 144 hours of the RTI. And this is the blank employer participation agreement. So this paragraph states that the employer has read and received a copy of the standards. It will be blank for the sponsor to be able to give this to employers to sign, and then they'll be able to upload them and add them as an employer once the program is registered. This is the apprenticeship agreement. Just blank, but they will have a copy of it so they will know what they're going to be handing out. This is the voluntary disability disclosure and the certificate of completion for apprenticeship that they can turn in if they want to for completions. And the requirements reference guide just tells them everything that they'll need to know to run an apprenticeship program. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save and exit this. We don't want to submit it for review until it's gone back and forth with the sponsor. So it's letting me know that it's created. It's not in the review status yet. We don't want to send it for review until it's ready to be signed, because that locks it, and that will allow the state director to review it and sign it. So let me go back now. So now you can see my one program. I can either create another one or, you know, when multiple ones get on the list. But I did want to show you how to upload documents. What I want to do is add a document instead of using the outline that is provided. Okay, next. So if I wanted to upload my own document, I would click on Upload My Work Processes. And again, click here, Upload My Own Documents. So I wanted to demonstrate this because if you choose an Appendix A, it needs to include the work process schedule, the related instruction outline, or the selection procedures. If you do Appendix A, it will get rid of all these options to upload. Or if you're only uploading a work processes, it will let you still use the related instruction and the selection procedures in the document. But for this demonstration, I'm going to do the entire Appendix A. Okay, see how it removed the other options. But if I only want to do the work process on something, okay, so see how it leaves these available. Now, if I've uploaded it, but I need to change it, I can just remove it and it makes that available again. Thank you. And if you want more information, contact your local apprenticeship and training representative.
So next, we're going to look at typical sponsors and partners for a registered apprenticeship program. So the first one, and again, an obvious one, is employers. So you need organizations who will employ the apprentices. Second is industry associations, which support businesses and employers within certain industries, and they can serve as an excellent technical assistance provider for your registered apprenticeship program. A certification entity that will authorize the validation of a credential. And organized labor, such as unions or entities that support workers. A related instruction provider, which are organizations that can provide instruction or learning outcomes to the registered apprentices, They could be from an array of organizations, and we will dig deeper into related instruction in the future presentations. A sponsor program who will serve as the administrating body and handle the reporting requirements of registered apprenticeship programs. The state apprenticeship agency or office of apprenticeship, which is the national system, who can provide technical assistance, but at the end of the day is the official sanctioning body of the apprenticeship programs. And there are a few other organizations that might be important to include, such as nonprofit agencies, community colleges, and CTE centers. So I'm going to ask for some chat participation again. Are there any other agencies that sponsor programs may want to partner with when building an apprenticeship program? Excellent. These are all great agencies to include to lead to registered apprenticeship program success. So next, I'll provide an overview of the Office of Apprenticeship and state apprenticeship agencies. So as I've said several times today, but it is a very important point, registering apprenticeship programs can be recognized by the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Apprenticeship or recognized state apprenticeship agency. These vary state to state, and it depends on which state you reside in. But the offices can provide technical assistance and support to apprenticeship program sponsors and support the development of programs. If you are considering building an apprenticeship program, it is important to contact your agency early on throughout the process to make sure you receive the support necessary to make the process effective and efficient. Further responsibilities of the Office of Apprenticeship and state apprenticeship agencies include registering programs that meet federal and state standards, issuing nationally recognized certificates of completion, promoting the development of new programs through marketing and technical assistance, assuring skill development of apprentices and high quality training, protecting the safety and welfare of apprentices, and providing resources for individuals and entities interested in apprenticeship programs. So in case you are unsure of where your state falls across these two categories, we provided a map which can also be found on Apprenticeship USA's website. I'll give you all a couple seconds to find your state. Okay. So recently, the Office of Apprenticeship developed Registered Apprenticeship Intermediaries to expand registered apprenticeship programs. Registered Apprenticeship Program development, well, let me backtrack. Registered Apprenticeship Intermediaries are responsible for some of the tasks listed below. So they can provide program development and implementation support by helping with outreach to employers, unions, and others to promote benefits, help programs equip workers with industry and skill needs, develop curriculum, related instruction outlines, and competency-based registered apprenticeship program models. They can provide technical assistance and partnerships through assisting employers in developing high-quality standards, leveraging partnerships to build a talent pipeline and stay competitive, assisting employers and partners offset the cost of creating and sustaining programs, supporting a diverse and inclusive pipeline through providing strategies and best practices that lead to successful placement and retention, particularly for underrepresented populations, and providing technical assistance on how programs can help organizations sustain effective DEIA practices. So in conclusion, registered apprenticeship programs are tools that exist within the public workforce system and can provide viable long-term career paths for workers. Registered apprenticeship programs must contain 5 key components to be considered by the federal or state government, and there are abundant resources that support the development and management of registered apprenticeship programs. What to expect next. So understand the benefits of apprenticeship for employers and job seekers, how to create impactful work-based learning models for registered apprenticeship programs, an overview of occupations, industries, and sectors, and then learning about other forms of apprenticeship programs. But before we go, can't leave without your quiz questions. So after thinking through all the information that I just presented, what steps should an individual take when creating an apprenticeship program? Can you list 5 out of the 7 delineating factors of a registered apprenticeship program? And what is the role of the Office of Apprenticeship and state apprenticeship agencies? So make sure you capture these questions, think through them, and we'll provide answers to them in our next session.